Hamilton in the black jerseys is the leading scorer in the CBL. That's Jody Hill. With the ball right now, Isaiah Thomas starting in the backcourt alongside Felix Frimpong. Turnover for Hamilton United. Very interesting with this Hamilton United squad with their backcourt, Garrett. We talk about Jody Hill a lot because he scores so much, but Troy Taylor has just been unbelievable for this squad.
Yeah, Troy, I think, is the heart and soul of this team. As you can see, he's doing just about
Devin Scott coming off a very Devin Scott-like game, 25 points, 15 boards. The only player in the CBL averaging 20 and 10 this season is Devin Scott. Spent 2 years at the University of Dayton. And the aforementioned Troy Taylor now going to the line. He has had an unbelievable season, averaging now just over 20 points per game, almost 9 rebounds a game, 5.5 assists, 2.7 steals. That ranks him in the top 5 in all of those categories this season, and also in his last 2 games, played 40 minutes, 30 minutes, 59.
He's a tank. He's established himself as one of the better players in the league, and I think he's getting more and more confident. As you can see there, he feels like he has a mismatch with Felix on him, and they went straight to it.
That will be the matchup to watch as the game progresses here. Devin Scott taking into the lane. Devin Scott, as mentioned before, the only player averaging 20 and 10 this season, but picks up the offensive foul there.
Yeah, he's a big, strong guy, and he's aggressive. Sometimes he gets him in trouble, but for the most part, that's why he's really effective.
Jody Hill running off the screen. They're working Taylor in that mismatch against Frimpong. That looked like it was a clean block. Foul called on Frimpong. Sending Taylor back to the line. Butch Carter going to his bench right away. Gilbert Giamfi, who is coming off 2 of his best games as a professional. Take a look at that again. Got some skin on that.
It's tough for a new guy coming in because these referees have seen these players a few times and they have an idea as to how to call the game. And Felix being a new guy, it's a little bit different for them. It's their first look at him. So
I think you would describe Troy Taylor as a fire hydrant in the past. It's a pretty good description if you ask me.
Yeah, you really can't move him.
No. So Isaiah Thomas now running point, finding Giamfi off the ball screen. He gets it down low to Devin Scott. He comes through. Jody Hill, a volume shooter, front rim and out. We saw a lot of this last week against Durham. Isaiah Thomas taking it coast to coast. He had one of the highlights of the CBL season last week. An absolutely monster one-handed jam, putting the defender on a poster.
Yeah, Chris has very long arms and just long limbs in general, and he jumps really quickly off of 1 foot. And if you're not ready for it, it could get ugly for you.
Thomas hits them both. He's improved his free throw shooting as the season has progressed. Again, it's Jody Hill handling the ball. Finds Chris Carter. Pull-up jumper. No good. Hamilton United has a couple of solid grinders on their team. And they will be all over the glass tonight. Going back the other way, Mason Archie dropping it in the lane. He's coming off a career-high 33-point game. Asked Mark Anderson about where the 33 points came from. He just said that with the zone that was being played against him, he found himself some really easy shots close to the rim. Next thing you knew, he was 10 of 15 for 33 points.
Yeah, Mason's a smart player, and when he's really aggressive and making shots, he can be pretty good.
Isaiah Thomas lets Troy Taylor know about it. the league is about 2 months in, and you can feel it because these players are starting to know each other a little bit, both positively and negatively. There are some guys who have something to prove, not only to themselves but to each other. But it's competitive in a good way. It never steps over that line, but it's very interesting to kind of see that progress as the season has went along.
Yeah, I think with the schedule the way it is, you get a chance to see if somebody has a weakness. The coaches and the players on the opposing team are going to sniff it out, and they're going to expose it. So you have to be able to adapt and continue to improve and develop. And you've seen that with some of these guys.
Wellington with a early 9-4 lead. Mason Archie get those easy buckets near the rim once again. Cut the lead 3. Thomas gets himself back into the paint. Can't finish at the rim. He's been a very productive player in limited minutes, but he's going to see a lot more minutes tonight. With only 8 players on the roster for Wellington, and Troy Taylor has it going early on for Hamilton United.
Troy was really aggressive there, and looks like he initiated some of that contact, and Coach Butch Carter was asking the referee about that, but it looks like he's going to go to the line and shoot one free throw after making the bucket.
Reserve your seats right now. Be sure to head to CBLtickets.com for any and all of your Canadian basketball ticket needs. The CBL would like to thank STV for providing the platform for the broadcasting of our basketball games, which will.
All right, we're going to swing the basketball, and then we're going to run him off this back pit.
So
I got Derek, I got Chris. Let's put you up here for right now. Jody and Mason. So walk them down, walk them down. You both are coming up in tandem. Right. Now remember, you both are sprinting up at the same time, so you got to walk down at the same time. Hey, sprint up. Troy, read it. Read it. All right, let's go. Here we go.
We're back inside the University of Guelph. For Wellington here in the morning. I mentioned that these two teams played on Friday night. There's a couple new players added to the Hamilton United roster. One of those players, Will McClure, his CBL debut. Ended up with a couple of chip teeth, busted lip, and a possible concussion, so he's out tonight. They've added Will Thompson to this lineup as well. Thompson out of Teaneck, New Jersey. So he may end up getting some spot minutes tonight after just arriving in town to join this team on Saturday. Frimpong back into the game for Wellington. Dominic Walls, good with Deontay on the wing. Back down to Devin Scott. I talked to him before the game about the turnovers creeping up. He said it's just a matter of getting used to his teammates. I think, as you had mentioned before, just not used to seeing the double teams. He is the go-to guy on this Wellington basketball club.
Yeah, it takes some time to get adjusted, to adjust to that, getting that much attention, especially on the defensive end with the trap coming at him. He's made some great passes out of it, but he's also had some trouble with some deflections.
Dominic Walls, his first team fifth.
Dominic Walls is the front court mate of Devin Scott. Those two players, 1-2 in the CBL in rebounds per game. Taylor once again back to the line. A parade to the charity stripe in the early going. Frimpong. The double team came on Devin Scott before he even got the ball. Walls just battles his way through. Saved back to Scott. He loses it. Body's on the floor. Scott comes up with it, finds Evan Pennell. No good, but it's Chianti there from the putback. Canadian kid from Brampton, Ontario. Didn't have a lot of minutes before last weekend. Now all of a sudden is becoming one of Butch Carter's go-to guys because he's just a grinder out there.
Yeah, Wellington has 4 athletes on the floor right now. They all are capable of playing above the rim, and you can see that on the offensive glass when they're all flying in there.
So checking in there. It's Aldor Cola, number 4 for Wellington. Sharpshooter out of Berat, Albania. Just 3 of his last 13 from three-point range. But he's been making up for that by getting active on the offensive glass.
Aldor was a late signee for the league, and he plays with a ton of energy. He's got pretty good size, and he's able to make three-point shots off the catch with some pretty good range. So see if he can get going early on.
Jody Hill took a gift of a turnover there the other way, but can't capitalize. Pennell back the other way. The lane just opened up for him. Taking it to the rim. Get Wellington back into the lead. Jody Hill finds Derek Stewart, kick out. Chris Carter, pump fake. Gets into the lane. That's one of his go-to moves, a little floater.
Aldor Cola defensively is really intelligent, and he's always there for the help to take a charge, and Chris made a nice move there to sidestep him and finish.
And Pennell, who I joke with constantly, because he's credited Butch Carter for fixing his jump shot. The mid-range game is impressive for Pennell now, but it has not translated to the three-point line. But he just connected there. If he can get that going from range, it's going to be a dangerous offensive weapon for this team.
He is. I know Coach Carter spent a lot of time with him on his jump shot, and you definitely see it in the mid-range. And he's got another shot right here for 3.
Evan Pennell from Akron, Ohio. I call him the son of LeBron simply because he's that new generation of athletes inspired by LeBron James. And he's passing that back on to the younger generation that looks up to him.
That was a good example there, Jason, of Devin Scott's presence in the paint. Derek Stewart for Hamilton just caught the ball point blank range and probably had a chance to dunk it, but he just backed away from the shot a little bit because he saw Devin Scott there.
And here we are, the size of Hamilton, but we're heading into a timeout, so we'll see it afterwards. We'll be back to the University of Guelph after this.
would like to thank Super our league affiliate for developmental basketball enhancement clinics for children ages 8 to 17 years old.
And one of the new players for Hamilton United taking the court now, Will Thompson. Just checked in for Derek Stewart. You'll know Will Thompson because he's the biggest man on the floor for Hamilton United, and he's matching up with Devin Scott right now. A lot of size there on Will Thompson of Teaneck, New Jersey. He was actually an all-county volleyball player in high school, along with playing basketball. And he's going to have quite a challenge in his first game in the CBL, trying to guard Devin Scott.
That was a really nice step-through move by Devin Scott. He is improved by being patient down there and just taking his time and getting to his spot and getting the shot he wants.
You may know the name Scott because of his 2 years at Dayton University. He was a part of that team that went to the Elite Eight back in 2014.
Jeremiah Williams is checked in for Wellington after not playing on Friday night. Part of a coach's decision, but he's been their starting point guard and has been a pretty heavy contributor over the past several weeks.
Evan Pennell's got the hot hand right now, Coach Kelly.
I don't think that's what they want for the rest of the game, but it's certainly nice to ride for the next couple possessions if he's got the hot hand.
He's hit 3 straight shots, says Evan Pennell. This entire league is full of solid contributors in the community and just good human beings, but Evan Pennell is a guy early on, one of the nicest guys I'd ever met, and now he's getting it to go on the basketball court as well as improved as the season progresses. Devin Scott there with the putback as he continues to work his way towards another double-double, leading the Canadian Basketball League in double-doubles, while Jody Hill finally gets a basket to go. Streaky player is Jody Hill, just needs to see that ball go through the hoop, but Butch Carter has found some defense to be able to contain him. Jody Hill averaging about 27 points per game was held to just 9 on Friday. And just feeding Evan Pennell right now. 4 straight shots. He's the high scorer right now as Wellington has a 9-point lead. Scott tipping it to himself, but Jody Hill comes up with the steal. He finds Chris Carter for an easy 2. That is Jeremiah Williams with the ball right now, the dreaded DNP CD on Friday night. And he was coming off his best game of the season. 25 points, got to the free throw line 15 times, only had 1 turnover. There's Jody Hill. I've heard the scouting report. Goes to his right, he's most likely pulling up.
Yeah, well, he can shoot it from pretty much anywhere over half court, and you can't beat yourself up after he makes a shot like that. Last possession here for Wellington.
Just 3 seconds to go, and they sag off Evan Pennell. He can't get it to go. I don't know what Jody Hill was thinking right there. 27-23 Wellington after the opening 10 minutes. We thank you for joining us. Make sure you stay tuned. We'll be back after a short break. We are back. 27-23 Wellington after the first quarter. And you are looking at the man of the 10 minutes, I guess we'll call him, Evan Pinnell. He was red hot in that first quarter. Took 8 shots. He was 5 of 8, but 4 of those came in a row. 4 straight shots and 12 points. So he scored 12 of the 27 for Wellington, while Devin Scott doing what he normally does. I mentioned he leads the CBL in double-doubles. Well, Devin Scott, 8 points,